Hello, hope you can all see me. Hope you can all see me. Apologies for that. Somehow, my PC had just continuing from where we were. Yeah, really happy you all joined me before, so we're just gonna continue. So just before we had the clash, we saw the absolute dominance of the Ferrari 330 P4. I think it could have got even faster, but today I'm very happy with a 201.83. And that means that the Ferrari goes up to first place. The Corvette goes down to third. So yeah, Ferrari in first place, Ford with a 203.26 in second, and finally the Corvette in third place with a 204.50. Narrowly beating out the Matra with a 204.54. It's been a very fun series of cars that I'm just really glad to have had a go at. Now I'm just going to have a go at a few fun cars. So we're moving on to just like a special shootout, as it were. Going from the Hippo Campo Dodge, lovingly recreated by Sergio Loro in his SSA 70 pack. Then onto the Ford Legends 34 car that I believe is quite popular in iRacing, but it should take these curbs slightly better than some of the other cars, so it could be interesting, it could be fun. After that, it'll be the Ferrari 312 PB, which used to do a lot of road racing, places like the Targa Florio, but also based on endurance tracks like Le Mans and Mexico. Moving on a few years, which is the most modern car we have in this collection, at least modern basis, is a Porsche 936, which in 1977 won Le Mans against the very fast Renault Alpines. And then capping off with the Delage 15S8, also known as the Dick Seaman Special, the 1930s racer that was very fast for his time. It's going to be quite a calm down and potentially quite a challenge to move from the Porsche to the Delage. Then it's the Maserati 250F V12 in particular, instead of the 6-cylinder version. It was in Formula 1 for around about the late 50s, potentially even 1960 series. And finally the F1 1970s car, I believe in March, that is absolutely stunning and depicted by Race Sim Studios, which I'm sure all of you know. So yes, thank you for coming back, and let's have a go at the first of the special cars. Again, if there's any cars you're looking for, just send a comment, maybe I can add that in. Just gonna quickly remove a typo. Okay, so the Hippo Campo Dodge is the first one up. Could be interesting. It's one of the lighter cars out of their SSA 70 pack. They're all fairly powerful, but yeah, I have no idea how this is going to go. It's a very odd looking machine. Just go into the external cam. It's like a dune buggy. And that big rectangular object, the cuboid on the left hand side, is the car's radiator. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Look at this thing. Anyway. Into third gear. Sure feels a lot more pedestrian compared to, you know, the Le Mans competitors that I previously just raced. But yeah, it's nice, especially after testing the Ferrari that ultimately won this kind of made-up series. It's very fun just to try something absolutely crazy. I think Sergio Loro, and likely you may know him from the F3 Classics tracks. He's recreated Daytona. He's been around since the 90s, I believe. Recreated Rouen, Zandvoort, many tracks, but his cars are really quite good. This is an absolute niche car, but I'm happy I picked it up. Tightly threading the car through this area. So, this won't be beating any land speed records, but it's quite a pedestrian 230 to start us off. But this is hot lap number 1 coming up, so let's see if we can go faster. You can do a surprising amount of turning whilst under the full throttle. But at least it keeps our momentum up. Into about 5800 RPM. Sticking in third. Yeah, definitely need to stick into third. clobbering these curbs. Down to second, up to third, and that is a 209.0. It's definitely quicker. Let's give it one final attempt. Up to fourth, just briefly, into the tricky corner. It's a bit rough, but we made it through. Narrowly missing the curbs there. Okay, here we go. Apart from that bounce, that felt pretty good. Okay, might be able to get a 208. As long as I don't miss too many more apexes. Alrighty, that's a 206.1. That is a wild looking car, but it did surprisingly well. Just look at this thing. Ignore that. But look at this thing. What a weird bit of racing history, but I love it. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. That car came in at a 206.10. Which, you know, that's first place, that's pretty good. At least for now. I can see it getting overtaken by a few cars, as long as I can keep those more powerful machines on the track. Up next is the Ford Legend. There. Whilst this is a recreation, whilst this is a more modern car, it even has a timer, I believe, in the car. It is based off of an older Ford model, so I think it fits enough. Okay. Quick acceleration off the mark. Making it around there. Okay, this could be a bit of a handful. Up to 4th gear, 9,000 RPM, 10,000 RPM. Just holding on there, sliding through that corner. Oh, too loose, and that's definitely the end of that lap. Gonna have to be far more cautious into there. I just had a snap and then lost all control. Very hard to save that. Okay, so we're on to hot lap number 2. $170 an hour. Not too shabby at all. Even if it was for just a moment. From 5th gear to 3rd, down to 2nd. It's amazing, for most of this lap, you do feel in control of this car. It's just that tricky bit that we're about to come up to. It's quite the handful. Just all of a sudden. Okay, that's better. Okay, coming in at a 207.5. If you were good at that car, you could definitely get a lot more time. But that's good enough for tonight. Okay, over a second away from the Hippo Campo. Then up next is going to be a pure injection of speed. This is Mario Andretti and Jackie Ickx's 312 PB from 1972. It's one of the, again, it's an older mod, but still pretty fast. So this could be a good fun time. Oh well. Not happy with the bumps, but 205 kilometers an hour at least. If I survive, this will be going straight to the top of the leaderboard. Really need patience through that corner. Actually quite a lot of these corners, because there's big consequences for being a bit too cocky. Just with the acceleration of this thing, could we see the first under 2 minute time? Holding my breath through there, but that wasn't too bad at all. Could actually use more of the road. Nice and gentle. Okay, that was just a warm-up lap. What can we do on a proper hot lap? Oh wow, that was already a 153. Those bumps are seriously rough in this car. It's not bad. It's not too bad on the rest of the circuit, but yeah, just holding on is interesting. Bit of time lost there. That's the end of that lap. Okay, let's do one more. That was very tricky. Absolutely fighting for my life there, but that's really enjoyable. Okay, here we go. $230 kilometers an hour. What's that, about 160, 170 miles an hour? Car just skittering underneath me. That's an improvement. Crikey, okay. Okay, so this 312 is could be definitely the car to beat. Coming in with a 151.4. Wow. Quite immediately, we can see first, second and third. The Hippo Campo Dodge did do better than I expected. And I think if you were skilled enough, the Ford Legends would be pretty powerful. But they can't touch that Ferrari. Cannot touch that Ferrari. Actually, in fact, I got that time wrong. That's not a 154. It's even faster. 151.41. Okay. Maybe one of two cars that can really challenge this Ferrari is the Porsche 936, the Le Mans car from 1977 that did challenge Renault and Alpine and took the Le Mans victory as well as the Endurance Championship of that year. It's going to be a tricky ride. The turbo of this car could launch me to first place or into one of the trees. Hit that turbo whine. Need to try and spool that up during some of the corners so I can get the best acceleration. This is an absolute jet. It takes a moment for the turbo to kick in, but once it gets past that lag, it's gone. But how agile is it? I don't think we can get flat out here, but yeah, definitely not. But it can hold its own. Too well. Let's try again. Oh, I haven't even started the hot lap. Okay, here we go for this first hot lap. What can this 936 do? First question, can it brake? Yeah, it didn't do too badly there. cautious through that. Scrubbing the tyres a little bit, but that won't make too much of a difference. Just best for this car to get into a straight line and then off we go. Off we go. Narrowly escaping that barrier. Oh man, that was close. Okay, one more. Still don't know what pace I could do yet. It almost feels like taking a valley car around this track. Especially some of the Group B monsters. Sorry about that, needed to concentrate. That was a 149.35. Nice. So that Ferrari came for a day, but no longer. The Porsche has taken control. And the last place of the current podium is the Hippo Campo Dodge. We'll be going back in time for this next one. This is the Delage 15 S8 that was raced by a racer called Richard, or commonly known as Dick Seaman. He's absolutely a superb racer of his time. Yes, it's not going to beat any track records, but it's not a bad sight, is it? And away we go. Handled that corner fairly nicely. It is surprisingly nimble. But this is definitely more of an experience than, you know, the track day machine. It is not going to break 2 minutes. Bit of a slide. And a drift. This is no slouch. It's quicker than I thought. Oh. And into a tree. Ah well. There goes the first hot lap. It's interesting, some of the corners that were quite tricky before aren't much of a concern. Meanwhile, some of the straights, especially if they're quite concave, pose even more for the challenge. Ready for this uphill section? Drifting that. That was pretty fast. It was fast, but it was good fun as well. Forward drift. Not the best start to this lap. I think we got this though. Going in deep again. Better than last time. Hop in the curb. Ah, that's it. Let's give this one more go. I think this car could be pretty quick, but yeah, moving from a Le Mans turbo-powered 70s machine to this beast is quite a move. As you can see. We got this. Best to stay cautious here. Into third. Ah, that is it. The first and only DNF so far. So if we look to our leaderboard, it was never really going to challenge, but it's a shame the Delage could not finish. But regardless, we've got 2 more cars to go, and if anyone has any requests of cars to do to race around the amazing Napoli street track, then, you know, let me know. But moving on, we have the Maserati 250F V12, the later of the 2 250F models in Assetto Corsa by default. This is the 1956 model that absolutely was a powerhouse during the early days of Formula 1 Grand Prix racing. And here it is. A good wheel spin to get us going. After 180 kilometers an hour, nearly 200. Drifting wide, that's not how I want to start this. the previous Delage I could just throw into a corner and, you know, even though I made a few mistakes, you could just throw it in and usually be fine. This is more of a handful, so it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. I think I could beat the Hippo Campo Dodge. Potentially the Ford Legends, but I don't know how it will fare against the Le Mans cars. Hard to make an apex with this thing, with zero practice. If you rev too high, the back does like to make an appearance and slide round. Turn. Okay. Still facing the same direction. At least that's something. Here we go. The first proper hot lap. Sliding in to T1. Charging away downhill. Thankfully with Assetto Corsa we don't have to worry about brake fade, especially as we're only doing this for a few laps anyway, even if it did exist. Otherwise that would be... brake fade would be quite the challenge. Not losing too much traction. Needing a bit more throttle to turn there. Up to fourth gear. Down to third again. Just a slight tap there, but we make it through. Potentially could have gotten away with that, but wanted to play it safe. Okay, to the line. That is a 217.3. Yep, definitely wasn't challenging. Too hard there. Let's just have a look at this car. Especially as someone in the earlier part of the stream is really looking forward to it. Okay, so with that final time of a 2:17.31, it is the fastest Grand Prix racer so far, unfortunately due to the DNF. I did have a look at the previous Delage. I have raced it at Napoli before and achieved a 2:18.17, so it was actually quite close. But now, if there are any car requests, this is the last chance, but if there is nothing else, this will be the final car today. I've had a great time, and I'm excited to show off this final car. You may know it already, but this is the Formula RSS 1970, the V8 March inspired car, I believe. Will likely be one of the fastest cars, light, nimble, and like the Maserati before, as strong as a bathtub. You don't want to crash around any of these trees. Today I've got the Jackie Stewart style livery, of course the champion of this year. Doesn't that sound good? Okay, let's go for it. The final car. And they are off like a rocket. No turbo power in this. But you don't miss it, it is quite the beast. And the very simple aero, the aerofoils, will definitely help around this course. Up into second gear, into third. Hear the car echoing off of the walls around it. I think we're going to be fast this next lap. That's already a 1:55.2. Crazy speeds. Into third. Going towards this. One of the most tricky corners of the circuit, even though it doesn't look like much. Onto the curb, but the lap is still valid. Into the town section again, but not touching those hay bales. Very thankfully. Ah, too much. Okay, I'm on a good roll here, just need to get those final few corners, and I think this car will be an absolute superstar. Even with that mistake, that's a 153.2. Sliding into turn 1. Through here safely. Avoiding the curves, that's good, that's good. Clipping some part of the terrain there. First to second to third. Bit more control through there. Nearly losing it. Come on, let's go for one more lap. That's a 147.53. Mind blowing. Well, if we ignore that end, that is the leaderboard. So, the 147.53. With no doubt, the F1 1970 has solidified itself in first place of this special stage. The Porsche lands itself in second, and the Ferrari is demoted to third place. But let's go over what I was doing here today. I enjoy the Napoli street track by Italo Tracks, and I'm also a massive fan of some of the historic mods that have come out. GTC60s, WSC60s by Baza, Panic and many other people. So I started off just fancying a shootout, just testing every car. No setup changes, nothing, just seeing what I can do on the day. So we started off where the Sunbeam Tiger took a surprise victory in the GT class, taking out the Ferrari 250 GTO, which absolutely surprised me, really surprised me. And there were some additions of touring car legends that are like the Mercedes 300 SL and the Alfa Romeo GTA, with two very different results. Just like the previous stream, these cars will be in the description. All of the main cars, the GT and the WSC cars, are part of the THR website. You can download them from there. Moving on to the WSC. These endurance machines were a lot closer than I expected them to be, especially with the difference of literage. But the Corvette Grand Sport Roadster, with the roof off naturally, enjoying the Italian sun, came in third place with a 204.5. It's quite hard to control this car, but once you got it going in a straight line, you were off to the races. It narrowly beat out the Matra, the M630, which only had 400ths slower than, which was only 400ths slower. In second place, you had the Ford GT40, which was quite a brute, it was very heavy feeling. Again, amazing in a straight line, but it was tough going. And finally, the victor in the WSC class was the Ferrari 330 P4 Bellonetta that had all the strengths of the Ford, but very few of the weaknesses. So that was great fun. And as you were just seeing, these final few cars were just a bit of fun. The first car is the SSA70s car, the Hippo Campo Dodge by Sergio Lore. You have the mod Ford Legends 34. That didn't do too well, but this is just a fun class rather than anything too competitive. The two Le Mans and endurance cars, the Ferrari and Porsche, really took the field by storm, and it took until the 1970 Formula 1 car to dethrone this Porsche. So yes, thank you all for watching. Apologies for the PC crashing. I don't know if I can change anything about that, but I'll see what I can do for next time. If you have any tips, any comments, stories, whatever, feel free to leave a comment, and yeah, we can have a chat. But thank you all for watching. I've been Historic Sim Racing, and I'll see you next time.